Hey, I'm Lauren. I own Lauren V Design. I create branding and websites for small creative businesses. I also run clever marketing campaigns for them. And I started my freelance design career in July of 2023. Now it's March of 2024. So there were a lot of things that I wish somebody had made a video being like, this is how you do it. And I felt like there were some things I just couldn't really figure out until I went to do it with a client, which is not ideal because what if you mess up, right? So I just thought I'd come and make a YouTube channel now that I finally have time to do so and share some of those things that I wish I would have had somebody to help me figure out when I was just starting out. So what I want to tell you about today is how I go from a Figma design to a WordPress website. So I'm going to go through how I use Figma, how I build in WordPress, who I use to host, and then finally how I connect that um, new website to my clients' domains so that they can keep ownership of their domain. So let's get right into it. All right, so I'm going to keep this as a simple overview as much as I can. So I will make eventually videos that go into detail about all these different steps, but this will be the main overview of how I do it, more on the technical side than the design side. So first of all, I love, love, love Figma. This is a free tool. There are paid versions if you use a certain amount of pages or whatever, but I am still in the free and I have been doing this for a little bit now and the free has been just fine. I have my old website over here and then the new that I just launched recently. So what I do is I go to this frame and I choose over here the size. So I probably chose desktop like 14 or 16. And then I just lay out the whole design. So you can share this with your client and then they just need to make an account and it's free for them to log in and leave comments. So I could say change marketing to, I don't know, social media management. And then I can come here if my client left this as a developer and I can be like, you got it. And I can leave it or I can check it off and make any changes as requested. The other awesome thing in here is you can set your fonts. So this is my heading 1. And if I make one change to heading 1, it changes all my heading 1s. And it works the same way in Elementor Pro, which is what I use to build websites. You can set your fonts the same way. You can set your colors. So you can see here I have like my brand colors. You can set those all. So you can grab those hex codes and your design can be the same as it is when you build it. Something you want to keep in mind when you're building your website is you can do anything on Figma, right? It's free range. But when you go to develop that in WordPress, there are limitations and there are certain things that might be better for SEO or for conversions. So that's why I changed my old website. It used to be like this. You would scroll down, then this was the header, and then it would be sticky from then on the page. And you would click this and it would open up to this menu. You could click the X. However, this menu opening was heavy on the JavaScript and I had an SEO professional look it over and they really suggested to have a catchy heading here so people know who I am, what I do, who I do it for, rather than waiting for it here. So even though it might not be as cool or unique of a design, you can see here that it is more simple yet beautiful. I also always warn my clients that there is an 85 to 90% accuracy probably with my builds. So this won't look exactly like this in WordPress. And I will show you actually what my website looks like in comparison. So this is my website. I added the stroke here. But you can see it looks just a little bit different, right? I ended up moving the text here and combining it to be here. But apart from that, like the spacing is a little bit different up top. And that's all right. Like if you're 85% in the same realm, I think you're good to go. So yeah, our services, I'll jump over there. So, pretty similar to the design. This stretches out with some custom CSS that I added. So yeah, this whole thing is built in Elementor Pro. So let me get into, now that I've shown you I design in Figma, I don't use any of these dev tools. I'm not really sure how, if I'm being honest. And I don't use this prototype tool either. If a client wanted to see it prototyped or wanted to see mobile pages, I would just charge them accordingly for that. But I have not yet had that. A lot of my clients are like women entrepreneurs on a budget, so we do what works best for them and for their budget, right? So let me jump over to my website hosting. Some people might hate this. I use Hostinger. I've yet to have an issue with it. I think it has great uptime. I know other people like SiteGround. I just haven't used SiteGround. Hostinger is pretty cheap. This being said, I don't have any e-commerce websites on here, and I do not have any websites that collect payments online. It is strictly forms. So let's say I want to add a new website, and I went over to GoDaddy and purchased a domain just to show you this example. So a lot of your clients will own their own domain already. They might have an email set up with it already. So an example would be lauren@laurenbtest.com. And this is laurenbtest.com. So they already have a website, right? Let's say this is the client. They already have an email. You don't want to move their domain over. You want that to stay in their hands. That's just because if anything were to ever happen and you have a falling out for any reason, maybe they just want to change providers to, like, let's say you have WooCommerce and they want to go to Shopify, something like that. Like, hopefully they'll go to you to help them do that. But there's a chance that someone else might take them on as a client, and you don't want to own their domain. You want it to be in their hands. So the only domains I own are for family friends and for my stepdad. I did his website. So there are a few where it was just like, they did not care. They trust me. You know, we have a personal relationship. Other than that, you kind of want to have them own their own. So what this looks like in Hostinger, and it would be similar in other website builders. I'm just going to go to websites and add. So I already have my website hosting plan, and it's the unlimited one. However, it does run out of space. I think I'm at like 10% right now, so I'm not worried about it. Create. I'm going to skip all of this. I do not want it to come with anything. So I'm going to put that domain name in here, www.laurenbtest.com. Alrighty. Registered, confirm ownership. I'm confirming. And that does not do anything to laurenbtest.com. Think about it. Like, if it did, you could go in there and put in google.com and take over Google. So no, it's going to be actually on a temporary domain as I build. All right. So once you have your domain in here, you're going to go to auto installer and install WordPress. The website title is Lauren B Test. You can make your administrator username and password. I use the same one for all of mine. Alrighty. So we have this all set up. It is working on installing the SSL certificate, which is very important. You also want to force HTTPS once that is installed to make sure your website is always secure. Do you ever have it where you go on your phone and you go to a website and it says, like, this is not a secure browser and you can't get to it? That's what we avoid with the SSL. But while that happens, I can open up the admin panel. Alrighty. I'm in the admin panel. First thing that I'm going to do is go to plugins. And I am going to add my Elementor. I use Elementor Pro, but first you need to download Elementor. And I actually am out of licenses right now, so I will just show you what I would do to download Elementor Pro. All right, so that's installed, and then you have to activate as well. I'm going to skip all this. Usually you create an account, and you do want to upload your logo and everything, but not a big deal for the purposes of this video. Alrighty. So this says it's a preview of a website because it's like laurenbtest.preview domain because we haven't pointed that domain over yet. So what you can do is go to your Elementor Pro subscriptions and download the zip file. And then I gotta exit out of here. I'll decide that later. Does not matter for this video. Alrighty. So then you'll go back to plugins and add new, and you can upload the plugin there, or after you make your account, you can click Get Elementor Pro and log in and choose your package. So this is up to 3. You can see the big jump between these two up to 25. I haven't done it quite yet until I have somebody else who needs a website created. Alrighty. So that's what it looks like to get Elementor. So the next thing I'm going to do is add in all of my pages. I go to here and I see the pages I want here. Sometimes there's child pages. This website does not have any. I will just hop over to my actual site. And go ahead and show you what it looks like in here. So I need to move myself. Oops. All right, appearance. All right, so I added my pages. I have about, I have referral program and resources. So I do have child pages. I forgot. I have those too. Then you go to appearance and menus. And then here's where you set your menus. I have 3 for the unique look that I'm doing. And you have the child pages nested under about. So what that does is this. See that? Alrighty. I have a logo here that links always to the home page. And then I'll just give you a very quick look at the Elementor theme builder. Alrighty. So once you have your pages in there, you can make your header design. Mine's a little complicated because it's split into 2. So that's why I have the different menus. This is the left menu. See, you can choose there. This is the right menu. And then I have a separate one for mobile. Otherwise, I would have 2 of these hamburgers. So it's mobile menu. And you can change all the designs in here. So full width, whatever width you want it to be. And then you can click publish or update and then choose for it to be on all of the pages or on just a select few. Like if on the home page you wanted it to be different or transparent or sticky, you would have a separate one for there. All right, and then you can also set your footer and for the pages you want that to be on. And then you can also click these 6 dots and right click and do save as template. So that's really handy. Like if you wanted one navigation bar just to be sticky, save it as a template under navigation and then insert it and it's exactly the same. Saves so much work. I do that for all my blocks too. My heroes, my internal page heroes, everything like that. All right, so once you have it built in Elementor, you have all your pages, you have them all designed how you want. Again, this is an overview, so I'm not going into how I use Elementor and how I design and all of that, but just a quick, more technical overview. Let's say you have your design all ready to go. So let's actually give ourselves a home page in our test over here. Let me just add home, oops. Home, edit with Elementor. And let's put in an image. Let me just find a random image on my downloads. This one from Adobe Stock will work. All right, I'm just gonna publish like this. This will be our home page. All right. Then we can go down here to, what is it under? Settings, general. Nope, reading. And your home page, you want to be home. And your permalinks, you always want to be post name. Those are important. All right, so this is what our website looks like. So we actually want this website, when somebody puts in here, for it to be this. This is going to be our new one. I know it doesn't look that fancy, but just for the purposes here. So what you're going to do is go back here and I'm going to do a little refresh, see how that SSL certificate is going. It keeps failing. Reinstall. Alrighty, so let's start. You need to log into your GoDaddy, find these old name servers, and replace them with these new. Alrighty, no problem. It's pretty easy. So I came to portfolio, laurenbtest.com, name servers using default, and I'm going to press change. I'll use my own. There's the first one. And you can make sure that these match what's already in here. If not, you can talk to the support for Hostinger. They're pretty good. All right, press continue. And this can take up to 24 hours. So I always want launch day when the client is telling everyone, I have my new website, go check it out. You always want that to be after this and when you know it will be live and ready to go. All right, so it's been like 4 hours since I put in that name server change request and everything is working as usual. So this would be that design you made in Design in Figma and created in Elementor. So it's working just perfectly. One thing that I forgot to mention is as soon as you make that request for the name server change, you should ask your client, you can ask them this at any time, who their email is through if they have a professional email. Like mine is lauren@laurenbdesign.com. This would be like info@laurenbtest.com. If that domain is that like later part of their email, you will need to change a setting in the DNS zone editor. So all it is the MX record. So this actually has 2, which is an error. I want to remove the Hostinger. You should just have one MX record pointing to either, it's usually Google or Outlook. So what you can do is just Google. So all you have to do is just Google like Gmail, MX records, and then you can click here and they'll have the directions here for you. Outlook does the same thing. So all you have to do is get this record here, which I already did add, which is what's right here. So as soon as their name servers change over, their email should be set up and working. So they really should have no downtime with their email at all, which makes it very easy. So now everything is working exactly how it should be. We have the DNS records set up correctly, and they still have ownership of their domain, which you can see here in GoDaddy. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please comment them below. Thanks for joining me with my first ever YouTube video, and I hope that you found this helpful.